So I didn't hear where everybody was at on the learner track. So why don't we start there? Just like where'd everybody end up, and is there anything else left that you have existing questions, or you're trying to get something done on your end that you're not sure about, or stuff like that? This is an informal session, so.
We did not make it through all the lessons.
Yeah. That's not too terribly surprising. I think the last one, especially the spatial audio one, I think is the hardest.
Yeah, we were on that, but we had like 15 minutes, so we didn't do that one.
Well, then there's a couple choices. I could actually run through some of the ones that you didn't quite finish, and that would be fine with me. Or we could go through, just work on whatever it is that you all are working on and try to answer questions and stuff like that. It's really up to you. We kind of leave those the last couple hours of Epic to kind of let people decide what will help them the most. And so whatever will help you is just dandy.
Okay, so I still have a problem.
Do it.
My problem is because I didn't understand. Well, I kind of had an idea, but Amanda confirmed this. I have 2 action release keyboard event.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have one issue right now. Let me quickly share screen because of course a visual is worth 1,000 words. So I have several action release keys that I want to do. But if I go up and I get rid of the one I had not added to yet, I get massive problems. Right now I just have one error. But if I go up, hold on, let me find my action here.
Do you have that action defined twice?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't do that. It'll.
Yes, I know that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Get rid of when I try to get rid of the one that I was just going to start working on. It gives me massive errors. Hold on, it was 220. Hold on, just a second. So let me show you what happens if I get rid of, okay, so here is my other one, and of course, and it says blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So now if I try to get rid of this though, let's just get rid of that. Now, if I do-
Wait, press /*. There we go, yeah. Just get rid of the action and the stuff above it. Otherwise that would have.
Okay, so I'm gonna just get rid of this.
Get rid of that.
Okay, now if I do Control R, I get massive errors.
So this is called a stack trace, and reading them is like, imagine hieroglyphics, except inject yourself with morphine and pain, right? I don't know. Stack traces are an ugly thing in computer science, but however, I hate to say it, but they're actually much better than not stack traces before that. So here's how you read these bugger things. For anybody that's on a screen reader, since it's not talking, let me sort of read it out so you kind of know what she's looking at. Denise ran a program, and then when it ran, the program compiled, but when it ran, it tossed an error out to the system, and that error said, error, the object being referenced is undefined, and then it said file with a bunch of information in it. And for each spot, it said a different location. So the first one is main.quorum, class main, action create game, line 87, file desktop application.quorum, and then et cetera, et cetera. So here's the thing. What this is actually telling you varies depending on what the error message is, but you got lucky. This is an easy one. The object being referenced is undefined is telling you the exact location where there's a problem in your code, and it's reproducible, which means it happens every time. It's a lot easier to find problems when they happen every time. So in this case, where you want to look is create game line 87. So let's go to there.
Okay. So I was wondering, do I have to go to each one of those? Is what I've been doing. Okay.
It's not intuitive. Stack traces are not intuitive, but here's what's happening. That spot is saying one line of code called another, which called another, which called another, which called another. And so it goes bottom to top in terms of what called what. So your program started on line 55, and then it called start game, and then it called game, and then it called complete initial setup, and then it called complete initial setup again, and then it called setup, and then it called main loop, and then it called your create game, and then it called line 87. But here's the thing. That probably sounds like, what? I don't get it. I didn't call any of that crap. Turn that crap off. But no, that's not the case. What's actually happened is your program lives within an ecosystem. And that ecosystem, for it to work, like for it to display graphics on the screen and do all sorts of stuff, requires that it goes through a series of steps to get there. And it failed at the last step, which was in your code on line 87. So that's what we want to look at next.
Can I get rid of that?
I don't know what bad is. So bad is at that point in time does not exist. That's what the program is telling you. So I would say comment it out.
Yeah, because what my go-to would be to go to each one of these lines and just delete what each one of these lines are.
No, that's definitely not the case. So, but in this particular case, at this point in the program, bad is not defined.
Okay.
So the program doesn't know what bad is. So let's scroll up. Well, that's fine too. Oh, I see. You define on line 75, bad is equal to find item 2D by name, big mouth. Maybe that's not its name. It's not finding anything. So I put that line back before you just kill it. Yep. And then what is the name of your big mouth? Is it actually big mouth or is it something else?
No, I changed it. It was one of the monsters. And
so that's why. That's why. So let's change it to what its actual name is, and then you should be good to go.
Okay, hold on. Let me see which one it was. Yellow potion. I don't see him now. He disappeared.
That might be your problem.
There's Susie. Oh, my big mouth disappeared. I don't see my big mouth now.
There we go. So
he disappeared. Okay, let me put big mouth back. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him then.
It's all good.
I don't know what to say.
If your Quorum Studio crashed and you didn't save, and yeah, it probably disappeared.
Yeah.
That could be something like that.
Let me put, let's see, how about him? I don't think I've done him yet. Okay. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay. Boney Von Boniness. Okay, so I'm going to make him.
I chose perfect names. I don't know what you mean.
Big mouth. Yeah, that's why I renamed him. Okay, so there's my big mouth. He is teeny tiny. Okay, so, but I do want him to make him movable, so I make him responsive, right?
Yep, and then physics enabled.
And I do need to do physics enabled, okay. And then I should be able to just, there we go, okay.
Yep. So copy the name and then dump that into that spot, and in theory, your program will not crash at that point anymore. It might still have issues, but that's okay.
Okay, yeah, so there's my big mouth. Okay, got it back.
Yep.
Okay, so now I'll control R.
Oh, no, that'll still crash.
No, yeah, it did. Okay.
Hold on. Here's what's happening. When you say find item 2D by name and you pass big mouth, there's nothing in the scene that has that name. So it says, well, what do? I don't find anything. So what it does is it returns you back a placeholder for memory. And the reason it does that is really important. It's because that's a way that it can tell you that there's nothing there of that name. And so it's saying, I've searched through everything that can be found and there's nothing by that name. So I'm going to return you back a placeholder so that you can tell that that was my answer. And so basically what's happened here is it says, I looked for big mouth. I found nothing because there's nothing of that name. And as such, here's your placeholder so that you know that that's the truth. Does that make sense?
It does, but I've defined him now. I got him back. Somehow he disappeared.
But what's his name?
Big Mouth.
Oh, and you named it Big Mouth? Did you save the scene?
I did now.
We'll go back.
To my scene.
Let's click on that guy just to make sure that that's his name. Whoa, where'd he go?
Now, where did he go?
Where? That's weird.
Yeah, he's gone now again. He's disappearing on me.
Go to the scene.
Yeah,
No, go to
here.
Yeah, let's see if we can't find him in there. Items. There's gonna be a ton, but let's see if we can't find him. So just scroll down.
Yeah, so he disappeared again. So that must have been my problem yesterday.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Doesn't show
because
it.
you saw me put him there.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Did we actually add him to the scene, or did we just? Was he just in preview mode? There's
No, I added him to the scene. Oh, wait. There. No, there's something highlighted, but he's not.
Let's go to the palette and let's add him back again.
That is so weird. Okay, so there he is again.
Oh.
Boney Von Boney. And I'm naming him Big Mouth. And I'm making him responsive. And okay, and let me
And press enter. Let's just see.
Oh, enter now?
Yeah.
Okay. Enter.
Okay, now move right and left. Let's just see what happens.
See?
Now press escape.
Okay. Escape.
Aha, we didn't add him to the game. Okay, that's what it was. So, yeah, so let's go back to the palette.
Okay, I'm in my palette.
Okay, now, just humor me. Press enter on that. Click on that little dude.
Click on the little dude.
Yeah, no. Go back to the little dude.
Over here.
Yeah, click on
Yeah.
it. Now
Here.
press enter on the keyboard.
I did. Nothing.
Or return, or there we
Don't
go.
use the number pad.
Yeah, don't use the number pad. And now press.
Oh, okay. The first time I did, the second time I did not. So here we are. We're back to.
Yeah, no, wait. Press that same key again.
Okay.
Okay, now
I did.
press right. Okay, good. Now you have one of the scene. Now press escape.
Okay. Escape.
Okay, so we were in preview mode. That's why I didn't add it. So go ahead and click on the guy if you're using the mouse.
Yep.
And then
Okay.
now change the name and do the thing.
Okay. Big Mouth.
Okay, and then do your physics enabled stuff.
Okay.
Close
And
that guy.
close.
Now
And
click
control.
save. Yep.
Yep. Control
And then
S.
go back to main. And in theory, we might be okay now.
Okay. Nope.
Okay, perfect. So that one was solved. So then go down to 106 and then you start the process again.
Oh my goodness.
So it's probably not, it's either not finding the blue potions or whatever, or it's putting in, it's probably putting in null. I bet that's what it's doing. So,
Okay, but I can do the blue potions. I can do it just like I did with Big Mouth.
Bingo, you got it.
Yes. Okay, I got it. I got it. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Dr. Stephen, I have a quick question that
Go ahead.
just by curiosity.
No, do it.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. I have the microphone on. Okay, so my question is, could you assign to the keys, let's say you have the arrow key going up and the right key going left, the right arrow key going in a certain direction. Could you assign to the key itself the sound? Like for instance, so no, you cannot? Okay.
No,
thank
you can, of course.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was thinking for a blind player or someone with low vision, since to hear the sound when you are going up, it reinforces that they are pressing the correct key that they want.
Yeah, you can do anything like that. That's not a problem at all. So
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
yeah.
I have a two-part question. I was wondering.
Sorry, we only allow one-part questions. It's a rule. It's an epic tradition. Amanda made the rule, and we all just accepted it. So
So that'd be a first.
there we go.
But you guys made a rule?
No, we have no rules.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
I did
We
that.
came to a decision.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dude.
But no, I was wondering if Amanda might have some time, and is there a breakout room that I could work with her some? If
Yeah,
there's-
I've got the code you want, Art. So yeah. Steffi, could you throw the two of us in a breakout room?
Sure.
hopefully today I'll go.
I know, right?
It would work yesterday.
And I don't know. It's just because
I know. Is Leslie in the room? I know she was able to do it without too much trouble the other day. Leslie, is there like magic hotkeys to jump into
Yes.
that room?
I think Leslie cheated
So
and
once-
used her eyeballs.
well, I might have used my eyeballs. However, I only have one. And when the invitation pops up, you do have to navigate to it and then click join.
Click, that's not in my vocabulary.
Well, I will try. I'm going to try to put you in breakout room 2. The invite's been sent, and
Okay, it said I'm invited.
Okay.
Okay, I heard it say I'm invited. Let's see if I can tab now. Yep. Yes, I got to join today.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. I thought I saw Kathy on too with a question too, but I don't see her now. Maybe she logged. So what about everybody else? Where's everybody else out? Jill, I thought I'd move you to advanced. Did you not get sent out there? Or did you want to stay here or something? I don't know if she has her microphone on. That's all right. So any other thoughts or questions or stuff like that from the rest of the group?
Dr. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm interested in someone to help me to add that sound to the keys. But I'm not advanced enough to do it. And I was wondering if someone can just do it for me and put an explanation or give me the little code that I need to add so I can just at least know what it looks like.
If there are other people that are interested in it, I can do it here and just do it real quick. I can just build it on the fly.
I am.
Okay.
Okay,
Let me share screen. And, it's funny. So it's possible, and you'll see this. I was working on a bug on this particular machine. I may have utterly bugged up my copy of Quorum Studio on this particular computer because I always run in like the hyper experimental versions. So if I did, I might have to reinstall it really quick on the fly. So if I do, just bear with me. So I'm going to make a new game, and I'm going to call it Keyboard Madness for no particular reason. Yeah. And I'm on my Mac right now, so I can't flip on the screen reader mode. But you should be able to see my screen if it's there, and I will orally describe anything that I'm doing. Is that cool for everybody? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, because the problem is if I keep the screen reader on, it's like it's tough to to balance talking over it and not. So here's what I have on my screen. I have and I've deleted all the comments so I can make it like nice and big.
Yes.
And so what I've done is I've got my use statement, use libraries.game.game. Then I've got class main is game. This is just a normal template. My action to start the game, action main, which calls start game. And then I've got a blank action create game, and then a blank action update. So let's remind ourselves really quickly what all these do. Class main is game is a noun. It basically says, this is a description of how this overall thing is structured. And then I've got 3 things called actions. These are verbs. These are things that this game can do. And it can do a gazillion other things too. And we know this because I can go inside of create game, press Control Space, and it pops up a little box that has tons of stuff in it, adding directional lights, items, collision listeners, keyboard listeners, all sorts of stuff. And you can look those up and find them. But in order to actually do this, in order to make my game do something when it does, when I press a key, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to class main as game, and I'm going to tell my game that I'm a keyboard listener. And the way that I do that is I just add comma keyboard listener with a capital K and a capital L. And because I'm lazy and I don't want to look up where keyboard listener lives, and also because nobody should, I'm just going to press Alt Enter, and Quorum is going to magically add that in for me, and that is use libraries.interface.events.keyboard listener. But don't forget, having kids memorize that is not useful. That's just not useful information to memorize the location of things like that. That's something the computer can and should do for you. Even professional programmers don't memorize those. It's too difficult. There's too many things to do. Now, the next thing is, if I want to actually use what's in the keyboard listener, one way that I can do this is I can try to figure out what's in there. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to hold, on my machine, it's Apple, but on yours might be Control. I'm going to press Control J on Keyboard Listener. And it's going to pop up a new class called Keyboard Listener. And that has two actions in it, press key and release key. And I'm going to steal, copy paste, press key, and then I'll read it just out loud as well. So in this case, I have action, pressed key, capital P, capital K, and then keyboard event, and that's inside of parens, and then end. And I'll copy paste some of this code once I have a little bit more there. Now on the screen too, or with a screen reader, it'll tell you that there's a green underline under event, or it'll say hint. And that's because it doesn't understand what keyboard event is. So I have to press Alt Enter on it again. And it magically puts the use statement up above again, and that's use libraries.interface.events.keyboard event. But again, that's not useful information to know. It's just good that the system generates it for us. That's the important part. Okay, so now the next thing that I need to do is I need to figure out what key I'm going to use to press stuff. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have, there's in event, there's this thing called key code. And I know that because I can type event inside of press key, press colon. And then I can dig through all the items in there. And one of them is key code, lowercase k, because it's a variable, not a function name. And then capital C code, so key code. And I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to assign that to an integer just because. So I'm going to call it key. Now, I want to know what the numbers are for going up, down, left, and right. And so I'm just going to output that key to the console. Now, there are other ways to do this that are probably a little bit better with constants and stuff, but we're not going to do that for right now. And I'm just going to run my program. And it ran. And if I press right, oops. Oh, ha, 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 ha. And of course, this program will do absolutely nothing for a reason I forgot to tell you. So this program does nothing. And that's really weird. Does anybody have an idea about why my program, I've added keyboard listener, I've added a press key, but my program does nothing. Does anyone know why?
Did you define what the key does?
Sure did. My press key is action press key, keyboard event, integer key equals event, colon key code, output key, end. That is my definition. It is absolutely 100% valid.
Did you build your scene?
There's no scene nor no scene required.
There's probably no released key action defined.
Nope, doesn't matter, but that's a great guess.
But there's nothing visual or auditory associated with what you define the key press to do.
Also a great guess, but wrong.
You have the action start game, and then you say immediately end. Is that correct?
Great guess, but not correct.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not easy to figure out, is it? So here's the weird thing, and this is true in all throughout computer science. In order for a system to know that you want to get there, you have to tell the system that you're listening for keyboard events. And so in computer science, we often call this registering a listener. And it works the same way for all of them. Keyboard, you got to register a keyboard listener. Mouse, you got to register a keyboard listener. Collisions, you got to register a collision listener. Now, the reason you have to do that is because these events can actually be a little bit expensive computationally. Like they might require the system to do quite a bit of work in order to find them out. So you don't want them running constantly in the background unless you really need them. And then you can tell the system you want them and it will take care of it. So I'm going to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to create game. I'm going to press control space and I'm going to type in capital letters. I'm going to press A and then I'm going to say add. And I'm just going to kind of look at these. I'm going to read them over. And as I'm reading them, I want you to think to yourself, which one of these is actually relevant for what I'm doing? And I want you to try to guess. And then stop me when you think I get to it. And I'm doing this because I kind of want to mimic verbally what you might encounter with the screen reading device, just so you kind of are used to this, that this is normal. This is exactly how programmers do stuff. So there's add directional light, add item 3D, add point light, add collision listener with collision listener 3D, add control activation listener, add focus listener, add input table, add keyboard listener, add
That
layer.
one.
Aha, add keyboard listener.
Yeah, add keyboard listener.
All right, perfect. And so when you're trying to figure out how to connect something up, click and control space and just going through the list of possible functions is a great way to do it, because it helps not just jog your memory, it helps you learn what is available even in these kind of areas. So I click add keyboard listener, and it takes a parameter of a keyboard listener. But hey, look at that. Our class main is game is a keyboard listener. So I can pass something that's going to seem a little bit weird. I pass myself, meaning the game that I'm in, and that's me. So I need me. Yeah. Ironically, this is a common concept in computer science, the idea of passing oneself as that piece of memory. And there was some debate for a long time as to what it should be called. Some languages called it this, some languages called it self. I've never seen one that called it me, but there's a couple others that are used throughout too. But we ran a statistical study on it to try to find evidence for or against. It turns out me and self are statistically tied for comprehension with humans, and me is shorter, so we chose me. So anyway.
Oh, great.
This is what we always do with Quorum, is we try to like minimize length depending upon human comprehension, which is the bigger factor in any case. So add keyboard listener, all capital A-K-L, and then you pass me. And when I do this, if I run my game now, it will correctly fire off keyboard events. Oh wait, I'm thinking on Windows. Okay, so if I press right, ta-da, I have 22 that is knocked out, left is 21, up is 19, down is whatever it is. It's in the console somewhere. Okay, everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Questions? Okay. Now, here's the other thing. Having a little key code like that is great and all for understanding what keys have what numbers, but nobody wants to memorize these. And if they ever changed behind the scenes, you'd have to rewrite your code. So what we do is, instead of mapping things to individual numbers, we map them to constants. And there's a list of them. And so if I say event : inside of press key, I can actually see that there's all sorts of constants that are put there that I could do. D, control left, control right, and enter equals, escape, F10, F11. And they all have numbers that you should never memorize because it's a waste of your time. And you can just set them to be whatever you want. So I'm going to say up, and I'm going to use an if statement to say if event equals up, and oops, I'm sorry. If code equals event : is up, not the, hold on just a second. I thought it was, did I not up? Oh, yeah, it is up. Okay, what's the problem? If code, oh, key equals event : up. Okay, I just can't read. Okay, so now what I've got on the screen is I'm going to use a constant event, and then if you want it to be the arrow keys, it'd be up, down, left, right. And then I'm going to say if key equals event : up, and then inside of my if statement, I'm going to have an output statement, and that says cool, up, yo, right, or something. And then I'm going to run my program, but does everybody get this? So if you did conditionals, I think, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Output.
Yeah, so this whole line now says action, press key, keyboard event, integer key equals event : key code. If key equals up, output cool, up, yo, and end. And because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, I'm actually going to toss this on Slack in the learner channel. And then you can look at it in more depth, or copy it, or toss it through your screen reader, or whatever floats your boat. Give me just 1 second to do that. And I'm just going to put code so far, yo. Okay. Now, that's great. Let's make sure it works. And if I press up, it says cool, up, yo. If I press down, left or right, it does nothing, which is exactly what it should do. Cool. So now the next thing is, how do we make it so that we do audio? Well, actually, you know what? Before we do that, why don't we make sure that we can do just for down as well, just because you can do it for any key that you want, but I'll do it one for down just to make sure that we're on the same page. And that is, all I do is copy paste the if key equals event up, add the word else before if, and then change up to some other thing. So I'm going to make it down, and instead of up, I'm going to say down. So that command is else if, ELSEIF, one word, key equals event colon down, and then inside of that it's output cool down yo. And if I run that, up and down both do their thing. Okay, I want to stop for a second to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Is everybody, any questions or anything?
So when we did this, we did set linear velocity vector because we're moving a character.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. And then we just put different, we put the numbers in parentheses that we want the character to jump. And then I guess adding a sound, would we?
I'm going to do the sound next. So
okay.
I'll do that in just 1 second. I just wanted to get through the logic for the keyboard first. And then that's one thing. And then you have that. And then the second thing will be, how do we add the audio in? And I'll show you that next.
Okay.
Okay, well, why don't we do that then? So there's a whole bunch of ways to do audio in Quorum. And so let me kind of, before we talk about that, why don't we, let me show you where you can look this stuff up if you want to. And that is on, there's a reference page in Quorum, and I'll link that in Slack. And inside of that reference page, there's actually a whole track of tutorials on how you do sounds in Quorum. And I want to briefly just mention what they are so you know what's in there. Notably, the first is on playing sounds, just how you do it. Second is in changing the audio. This is like volume controls and stuff. Change sound, where sound is played. You can do positional audio and 3D audio even. So you can like place items in a 3D soundscape, and then you can put properties on them so that you get close to them. They do stuff. If they move, they have Doppler and all sorts of stuff like that. So you can make like a siren that goes, meow, that sort of stuff. And you don't have to like know all the math behind it and all that kind of stuff because it's pretty nasty. There's audio streaming, so playing longer audio. And then we've actually got 5 tutorials even on how you do digital signal processing if you want to go nuts. And this is like, if you really want low-level control of the audio system, you can do that too. And it's hardware accelerated. Sorry, I don't remember if it is actually, but it's under OpenAL, which is a specialized library for doing digital audio. And it's pretty fast and works pretty well. So you can go anywhere from play a simple sound and have it go to like, I'm going to go hardcore and directly control the audio buffers if you really want to go nuts, which might sound silly, but there's a lot of people, especially in the BVI community, that are really interested in sound programming. And so you can go totally nuts with it if that's your interest. But so what we're going to do is we're just going to like turn on an audio sound and we're going to play it. So let's do that as a first step. So the class is actually called audio, and I'm going to call mine sound. So I'm going to make it a variable. I'm on line 6, and that is audio space sound. And I haven't included the audio class in my program yet, so it still has an editor hint. And so I'm going to do the usual, and I'm going to press Alt-Enter. And ta-da, it says use libraries.sound.audio. Cool. Now, in order to actually play it, there's a couple things that I have to do. And the most important one is I have to choose the correct load function. Okay. And when I say sound, I'm going to type sound in create game. I'm going to type sound:L. And that actually pulls up 6 load functions, load actions. And I want to mention briefly what they are. There's load audio samples, load file, load text, and then there's load to stream, and then it has the same 3 things in it. So what? First of all, the difference between load and load to stream is a little bit weird. Load is, I want to grab everything in memory from a file. Right? I want to load a file from disk, and I'm going to put the whole sound in memory right now. And then load to stream is saying, hey, I don't want to do that. I just want you to know about this and get it ready to be streamed. And then over time, I want you to put some more bytes in as we go. And the reason you care about that is because load to stream is really useful for things like music. When you want to like buffer in certain piece of it, maybe you're grabbing it from the internet, maybe you're grabbing it from disk, maybe you're doing some other thing. This allows you to both stream music or sound and also to just load something in and then go play it. So that's the difference between load and load to stream. In this case,
When Amanda,
go ahead.
oh, sorry. Oh, when Amanda did it, she just did load, and her song just came out as a.
That sounds like something Amanda would do. Yes. I'm just kidding. Yeah, load is just fine for a lot of instances. It's just what I try to do when I'm showing people this stuff, I'm trying to at least make you aware of some of the things that this can do, in addition to giving you ideas about what we'll do this particular time. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to call load, and we're going to call this action called load text file path. And for now, I'm going to put a left paren, 2 double quotes, and a right paren, and this will crash on me on purpose, and that's okay. And the reason is we need to get a sound. So the next thing we're going to have to do is find a sound. And you guys might already have some sounds. Do you already? Do you all have sounds?
That's what that's what we were working on yesterday.
Okay, great. So the next thing I want you to do then is in wherever you are. Oh, if you already have one available, then I'm going to just add one to mine. And you just hold on one moment, and I will get mine put into my repository, and then we'll go on. So give me just 1 second to copy it in. Hopefully you have yours in there already. It is, what did I call it? Keyboard Madness. Okay. Now, in my particular case, on my screen, you can see that I've got the actual folder for Keyboard Madness, and I actually put it in the root folder. I usually don't do that. I usually make a subfolder with a bunch of audio and stuff, but I just want to exemplify a point here. When I call load, the question is, where is it relative to on my program, on my disk? There's 2 ways that you can do this. One, you can create a file and tell it the absolute path, you know, like C/Leslie/whatever/whatever/whatever. Or you can tell it that you want a file that's relative to your project or your executable. And so that's usually what you want. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to say potion.og. And because it's in the root folder of my project, it just understands that that's where it is, and it will load that sound from disk into my game inside of Create Game. Okay, so to put that back together, there's 3 things that have to be put in. There's use libraries.sound.audio, which is auto-generated by Quorum. There's audio, and then it needs a name. I called it sound, but you can call it potion or dog or whatever you want. And then you have to call load, and you do that typically in Create Game, sound::load potion.og or whatever it is the name of your file is. And that's all we've done so far. Any questions on that?
When you said your root folder, what did you exactly mean? It was in your Quorum Studio folder?
Yeah, so I saved my project at a particular location. And in my particular case, I saved it just in the random Quorum Studio folder, and then I called it Keyboard Madness. So if I click on that, I tossed a sound file just now into that folder at the topmost or root or whatever. I don't know exactly what to call it, like the top, the beginning type of place. And I just tossed a file there. If instead I wanted to make a new folder, and I think many of them have this in by default, called resources, and I put it in there, then what I would do is I would just say resources/potion.og. Does that make sense? Or did I not?
Yes, I put it in resources, and I put it in, it doesn't have I don't think I saved it as. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this comes down to like, how do you want to organize your stuff, and you can kind of do it how you see fit, and that's really the at the end of the day. When we build stuff, we often make some kind of a structure, but we're not super formal about it. Like, I think we often have like a resources folder, and then it has like a graphics one and a sound one, depending on what we're doing. But you know, we're kind of random about it. It's not like it's not the most super sophisticated thing in the world, if I'm honest. So, in any case, so yeah. So now we've got a sound and it's loaded. Because we called load, not load to stream, it's going to play the entire sound file if we call play on it. And if we want to play that sound when I press up, all we do is instead of calling output coolio, we call sound :play, and that's it. And now if I press up, it does that. And so if I wanted to play down, I could do the same thing. And I guess I could, but oh, I know what I'll do. This will be fun. Okay, let's do that first. So yeah, so now I've got a program that can play if I press up or down. So I'm going to run my program. It's awesome. So there we go. So that can give you indications on movement. Now let's do one more thing just for fun, because I just thought of it and I feel like it. So I think it'll be instructive. Let's add the ability to change what channel it's on. So you can do stereo sound back and forth if you have headphones and stuff. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm calling sound, I'm going to call set balance. And set balance is a number that I can provide to the system that tells it to put it in my left ear or my right ear. And I don't know why this is true. This is like a weird convention in computer science that we kind of just stuck with because we didn't have a better one. But in computer audio, we almost always represent pretty much any value as numbers between -1 and 1. Again, why? I don't know, but it just kind of stuck around. So -1 is like your left ear, 1 is like your right ear, or vice versa. I probably have it confused. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call set balance on up, and I'm going to make it -1. I'm going to call it set balance on the other, and I'm going to make it 1. So that way, if I press down, it's going to go into one ear, and if I press up, it's going to go into the other. And then I'm going to run it. Cool. And that worked. Ta-da. Just so that you know it exists, because it is fun. You can do all sorts of insane stuff with this. For example, if you happen to have a 4-channel system, you can also call set fade, and then you can have it go in front of you, behind you, all sorts of stuff too. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, bounce things around. Or if you're in a 3D soundscape and you have a 4-channel or 8-channel setup, you can set all sorts of audio objects around them, attach Doppler to them, and then they can like fly around you and all
Unfortunately, Zoom is outputting the sound as mono, so we didn't hear the if you know you were.
Oh, of course. You won't be able to hear this from my Zoom, but if you do it on your own, you will. So, okay, I'm going to copy this whole thing into Slack now so that you have a reference. But yeah, you're right, Josh. You won't be able to hear it through my Zoom specifically. Okay, so this is my finished keyboard madness program. All right, I think it was Diana's question. So there's about 30 lines of code to do that. So, and most of that is generated. So not too bad, but you know, not trivial either. So it takes a little bit of thought in order to put it together. But once you're comfortable with these kinds of like how you put the keys together and conditionals and stuff like that, it's also not too crazy to put this stuff together. So you do get kind of used to it over time, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't know, does that answer your question, Diana?
Yes, thank you. It did, and it gave me an idea. I'm not capable of doing that at all, but it just, I now I have an idea what the process is, and thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it does take practice. So like, you know.
Yes.
it's mostly a function of like, if you mess with this stuff regularly or your kids do, then they'll get better at it over time. Just like
Right.
learning to play the saxophone or getting better at math. It's just a matter of like, how often do you do it?
Practice.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I probably code like 6 to 8 hours a day, so I'm very comfortable with coding. So like, and I wouldn't expect everybody else can do stuff like this off the top of their head, but that's okay. So, yeah.
Okay, Andy, I have a question for you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
sorry I had to step out. It was Kate and Tyler having a thing.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I don't judge anyway. So.
Anyways, it says that I am either missing an end or I have too many ends and I cannot figure it out. So
Oh, do it. Go ahead and share a screen if you want.
okay, I will do that. And let me see. This one, share. Okay, so up here, you see that I have all of these nice green things saying that it's defined.
Yep.
Then I noticed that way down here, nothing is green. And then when I run it, I get this line 164 telling me I either they're expecting an end or something else. And I've gone through this and this is the only line that's with red. And I've gone through this and I've taken ends out and put ends in. So
it looks like you are missing the end at the end of that repeat there. And then there's an else if where you're missing an end too. Line 159.
159. So there should be two.
Yeah, it's counterintuitive, but they have to match. And ironically,
I see.
Yeah.
This if has an end, but the repeat doesn't have an end.
Bingo. Exactly.
Okay.
And
so
there's two things going on here. One of them is computers, you would think, are really good at matching things up and giving you good information about which thing is wrong, but actually they're not very good at it at all.
Okay, now look what happened. This is, oh, nope, that didn't happen. Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and so sometimes even though it tells you that there's an end and it gives you a line, it didn't do too bad this time, but like sometimes it doesn't do a really great job about knowing which ones are missing, is I guess my point. So it gives you kind of stuff that like it's its best guess, but it's not always totally correct. So
okay.
But yeah, so now you've got the one that go ahead and line the end up with the repeat. And then it looks like there's one for the else if that's missing too. So I think you're missing one more. So one more tab, there we go. And then past that one. So then put the cursor past that end.
This one right there?
No, the one below it.
Okay.
And then press enter. And then it looks like you need one more to line up with that else if on line 133.
Oh, 133. Aha!
Oh, that might be it.
That was it. I knew it was something silly. Okay.
Yeah, and actually, I hate to say it too, but like there's strong evidence that this particular task that you just did is very difficult for human beings. So like there's strong evidence that it's something that gets in the way. There's strong evidence that it's a common mistake. There's strong evidence that it takes a while to fix it. So like, don't feel bad about these kind of errors. It's actually very, very common that this is a common problem. So yeah, it feels like it could be done. Like you'd think that you could just get rid of them, but there's downsides if you do that. You'd think that you could just like auto fix it, but you can't always. So it's like, it's kind of a pernicious little annoyance, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew expert eyes would be able to find it quickly. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We are actually working on experimenting with some ideas to make it so that when you generate these things, you can't screw them up. But we haven't finished that yet. We're hoping to do that next year, depending on funding and stuff. But like that's the plan. So we'll see.
Okay.
Anyway, Mike, you look like you want to say something. Okay, good.
Sorry, I was just wiggling in my chair.
Oh, well, you're the only one with a camera on, so that's probably why. I mean, Jill's is secretly on, and we're recording her, but you know, she doesn't know that, so that's okay. I was hoping to proc a response, but I failed, I think. So, anyway, other questions? Happy to answer other questions or kind of work on one of these other tutorials or whatever helps people.
Sorry.
I think I heard.
Go ahead.
or Josh?
I'm
Oh.
curious to know if there's a way, say, if I wanted to, is there a way to overwrite the water tiles so that they, say that you can create some like say like a swimming thing, like if you had like a river, like a lake or something on your map, and you wanted to create like swimming like logic,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, like right now, like it doesn't obviously it doesn't for good reason doesn't let you walk through
Oh,
water
you mean
tiles.
like the default physics? Ouch. The default
Yeah.
physics thing? Yeah, sure. I can show you how to do that. So this is kind of advanced, but
Oh, okay.
no. It's not as hard as you think. It's not hard. It's just like not something we were really like planning on people would want to do. But like the
Okay.
moment, of course, we made a tutorial, people are like, I can do that. And so I'll just show you how to do it. It's not that bad. It's just kind of ugly. So if I go to my um, I'm on Mac, so on my applications folder, but that doesn't matter. It's the same on
Yeah.
Windows. Let me see if I can't find it. Okay, so if I go to Quorum Studio, I'm gonna go through the secret contents panels. And if you don't know how to do this on Mac, don't worry about it. On Windows, it's simpler anyway. Just go to Program Files and then go to the Quorum Studio folder. Inside of that, there's a folder called Resources, and then there's a folder called Tile Sets. And you'll notice that, excuse me, inside of here, there's, oh, that's funny. I installed Amanda's. Interesting. Inside of here, there is a series of tile sets, and they have different names. Amanda made one called Bubble Emotes. There's another one called Characters. This is the boy and the girl. There's another one called Dungeon, another one called Nature Summer, whatever. And
Yeah,
you'll
they're
know
actually in the scenes, when you go and look at the scenes, it's laid out the same way.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. That's actually not an accident. When Quorum Studio boots up, the only way that it knows what's in its palette is it looks there. So guess what? If you write your own, you can totally toss it in there. If you make one that's special in some way and you want to send it to your friends and they want to toss it in there, they totally can. And you can have a palette with whatever you damn well please. In addition, these things are just plain old, the images are flat out images, but they get their accessibility information from this JSON file, which is a different thing right next to it. So if you want to, and Quorum supports native reading and writing of JSON, so you can either do it programmatically and change things, or you can do it by just modifying the raw JSON and tossing it in there. So for example, in my system, there's the nature, I think the water tiles are in Nature Summer. So if I open these with, I'm going to open them with, since I'm on Mac, with Tech Shop, because I feel like it. If I can find it. And yeah, whatever, I don't care. And you'll notice in here that this is a big JSON file and it has all sorts of garbage in it. This is like the name, the source, what license it's under, where we got it from, where it exists, all that kind of stuff, the width and height of the grid. So you can change it. So like if you have one that's 64 by 64 tiles, it will auto adjust the grid snapping so that it goes to that inside of the scene files and stuff like that. And then you'll notice that inside of here, I found a tile and it's water. And I wanted to make, if I wanted to make water not physics enabled, all I do is just, it says here physics enabled true and responsive at 0. I just delete those lines and then that's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now keep in mind, it does have to be valid JSON or it will reject the whole file. So if you are doing this and like the JSON just collapses into oblivion and Quorum Studio is like, I don't know what to do, then it'll just not show up that whole thing in, oh, Mike got tea. It'll show up that whole thing inside of, I need more tea. It'll show up the whole thing, sorry, it'll remove it from the palette completely. So if I put garbage in here and then your tile set disappears, that's why. Because it says, hey, I don't know how to read this. And it actually rejects any tile set that doesn't have valid accessibility information. It just says no. And then it won't let it be processed. So that's why it does that. So it guarantees that the accessibility information is there so that it can be used by the system, basically.
So basically, that's pretty nice. I think I get it now.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, it's really powerful. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, like, there's probably ways we can make this better. The files are kind of big and they're kind of bulky to read and stuff. But, you know, you only have to make them once and then they can be shared around a whole community. So it's really not that bad. So, yeah. Anyway. Okay, cool. So that, I think that answered Josh's question. I think Leslie had a question as well.
Yes. So I got that fun error that goes file.
Oh yeah, that's called a stack trace. Stack trace.
Stack trace, yes.
Mhm.
Stack trace.
Share away.
Okay, let me find the share. Where is?
It's so funny because when programmers first are kind of seeing programming and they see a stack trace, they're like, oh God, this is the scariest thing alive. When programmers like us see them, like when users send us these stack traces, we're like, oh, thank God we know where the error was. Because like it's always so hard to find stuff, and stack traces tell you exactly where it was. So they're really helpful, even though they look really scary, because they do look really scary.
Well, and I was I was listening to you helping, I think it was Denise, and I was looking through. I'm like, I don't see what he's seeing in this. Where?
While we're doing this, I'm going to take a cue from Mike, and I'm going to get tea, so I'm going to bring the computer with me, but I am listening.
Okay. Share screen. There it is. Oh my gosh.
There you
go.
Okay. Okay, so you're looking for create game line 116. That's where it says the problem is.
Oh, where do you see that?
It's in the console. You press Control-3 to get there. Control-3. You know what I mean? Can you still hear me? Oh, weird.
Yeah, you're still weird.
Okay. Yeah, so you press Control-3, and that will take you to the console if you're using a screen reader or just in general. And then inside of that is just a text box, and it's just basically anytime it sees one of those, it just dumps them into there so that you can observe them how you see fit. I don't know if you're still there.
Yes, I am. Sorry. And you said line 165.
No, if you press Control-3, it'll take you to the stack trace. It says the object being referenced is undefined. And then it says file main.quorum, comma, class, colon, main, comma, action, colon, create game, comma, line, colon, 116. So it's line 116 of create game.
I wasn't listening to the whole line then. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I should probably actually reverse them where it gives you the line number first, because that's the most useful information, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I forget why they're that way. There probably isn't a good reason, actually. So, but that is actually changeable, but it would be a lot of work for right now.
So is there a way in Quorum Studio because I know that the go to line, you know, if you do like 116, it'll just go to 116 of the whole script.
Yep.
Is there a? I guess you could just use the. Well, no, because I'm trying to think of a way if you got, you know, multiple functions in the stack trace, is there a quick, easy way to jump to
you know,
I would like in a specific action or
I would like that too, like a link or something like that in the text box. There isn't an easy way to do it, no, but I would like that feature. It doesn't exist right now, but yeah, I totally agree with you. I would like that too. I would use it, but it's not in there, so unfortunately. So you kind of just have to navigate the file and go to town.
So it's not happy with my monster set collision true.
Yeah, so that monster's null. So where does that monster get set?
That
will not be stack trace. Where do you create the monster? Oh, okay. So it's doing the find item 2D by name, and it's calling ogre. So ogre, is ogre in your scene?
Yes. And then I did.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is that ogre's not in your scene because either it's the name is wrong or some kind of spelling or something like that. That's what this is telling you. So I would pull it and make sure that that ogre's there and that he has the right name, which is lowercase o ogre.
Oh, maybe it's an uppercase.
Could be.
I was like, I know I checked the spelling on that one.
Yeah, well,
okay.
The computer's telling you that it's null, so it's, I mean, undefined, so that's the case. So.
Okay.
That is the funny thing about computers. They're relatively unforgiving, right? They're not like one tiny thing, and they're like, nope, sorry, I'm going to crash for you. Enjoy. Which sounds bad, but actually, you know, it makes it very consistent, so you can debug things. So let's find your ogre.
The palette isn't coming up. Why is that? Is my scene not open? Let's make sure my scene is open.
It doesn't look open.
Why isn't my...
Go to project.
It isn't.
No.
What are you doing, computer?
Go back to projects. Okay, press down. Or, yeah, now go up twice.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, now press enter.
It should be open now.
Yep. Well, no, press enter. There we go. Now
it's open.
Yeah, and so now if you go to the scene or the palette tabs, you can press Control-1 and there's Control-Tab, and then it'll take you to the scene tab or the palette tab or whatever. Or you're in the grid, so you can go find your ogre. So that's what I would do. That's a cool map. So, yep. So move the cursor or click on it or whatever mechanism you want.
Come here, guy.
Yeah, you can do it with keyboard.
Come here, guy.
Or you can find it from the scenes tab or whatever works for you.
I think it might be easier. Let's try that. Where? Over in the scene tab. That's right, because I need to go. There we go. Now it would be really cool if I could just press O.
Yeah, we intend to get first letter navigation in there yet, but we haven't finished it. The reason it takes a while is because we have to do it for every single control, and so like it's mostly, it's not like it's complicated, it's just labor time. We just haven't finished it.
Yeah.
Well, I've also noticed too that when you're navigating through items in the scene, like items that are already in your scene, when you're in the scenes tab, there's quite a bit of lag, at least with the NVDA. So it's, I don't know. That's
yes, there is.
Yeah, there is definitely a couple of screen reader issues. We're doing a hackathon with Microsoft pretty soon on some of them. Part of the funny thing with accessibility is that, oh, so did you find the ogre?
No, hackathon's fun. Cool.
Oh, yeah. Part of the complexity with the accessibility layer is that, it's funny to say, Microsoft puts out documentation on it, and I would say 80% of it is wrong, or maybe not that high, but like a lot of it is just flat out wrong. So like it'll say, call this function, it'll do this thing. Nope, doesn't do that thing. And so you kind of need internal people to know how some of this stuff is put together, because like it's just, they don't put out any information on how it works.
I mean, it's probably
and
just like 20
small.
to 30 different people wrote it.
Yeah, and it's messy, it's clunky, it's like, it's really hacked together. Well, I'm not sure what you're even doing at this point. Why don't you go back to the grid? It might be a lot easier to find this.
It's not talking to me very well right now, so let me
Here,
just
how
try.
about this?
Let me just try to use my mouse.
I'm going to request remote control. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh.
Just to speed things up, so it's because there's a lot of other people that are on the call too. Whoop.
Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. Oh, stop that. It's not navigating to the thingy. My computer sucks. Okay.
Do you want me to request it
okay.
again? Oh, there it is. Okay, great.
There we
go. What's happening?
When Jeremy did this the other day, there was quite a lag.
Weird, yeah.
Try to turn off NVDA.
Sure, whatever works.
Except that didn't do anything.
What on earth is even letting me connect? Okay, hold on. Oh, there we go. Ah, there we go. Ogre space 1. Capital O.
Oh.
That's the
okay, so I did. So it does have the capital O, but there's a space 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ogre.
So that's his problem.
Okay, so I'll stop remote control. That's the only thing that I needed. So. Okay. So that's all the information that we wanted was ogre space 1 capital O. And then we'll put that in, and in theory, it will stop complaining if we spelled it right.
Okay. So let's go back over here. And are you going to go down for me? Wow. I wonder if my housemate is also on. Come on. Jump over. I'm not getting like any response.
What are you trying to do? Go back to the scenes?
I was just trying to, yeah.
Go back to control 1, takes you back to the projects.
Right.
Did it do that? Oh, you're there. Okay, so now control tab.
I am there. Oh, it didn't announce it. Okay.
Oh, weird. Maybe we'll.
Oh, it's been super. It's been. I don't know. It's probably my ancient machine.
I'm not sure because like we've been able to reproduce it on our end too. Like there's something funny going on with the like a little bit of lag or something. I'm not sure where it is, but that's what we talked to the Microsoft people about. So we're gonna work on it, but I don't have like an ETA. We tried to solve it the other day and we couldn't immediately find it. So it was weird. It seemed, I don't know why this would be, but it seemed like if I boot Quorum Studio and it has a scene open when I boot it, it seemed to be worse. But I don't know if I'm just imagining things or if there's.
Nah, you're not. I think it's, yeah, like I think when scene loads into memory, like it's better, I guess, to close the scene and reopen it in Quorum Studio.
It seems like that's the case. I don't know why, but we'll work on it. It's just we don't have an answer yet. So in any case, in theory, what you can close that properties window. Just press escape on it or whatever.
Okay, properties. Go away, Zoom. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. Now let's add a 1 to the ogre. Okay, where did I do that?
Line 114.
114. Okay. Oh, monster equals find by name, find item by name. Okay, gotcha. And it is a capital O. Okay.
Yeah.
Come here, guy. Where am I? Oh, there I am.
Yeah, so you can either use the keyboard shortcuts to move around, or yeah, that's what I do too.
Okay.
Capital O.
And a 1, space 1.
That's what I saw.
Okay. Huh.
And then press save that thing, and then
I'm saying.
yeah, and then let's run it and see if it gives us the same error.
Oh, I should probably do clean run, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Did it? Oh, you just okay. Did it run? There we go. It's just being slow. Okay, it did crash, but that's okay. Okay, so let's press Control-3 and let's go up to the top of the file. If other people want me to like have a student jump in with
Yeah, I could stop monopolizing if that.
it's fine with me. I just want to make sure that everybody else, if they have questions, that they get them answered too. But this might be instructive to people because doing this kind of thing is actually a really common task in programming where you have like a stack trace and you're not sure what to do about it. It's actually a really common thing people want to do. So I actually don't mind sitting here and going over this with the whole group. I just want to make sure everybody else is okay with it. Everybody cool?
I'm okay with it. Okay.
So we need to be able to read that stack trace. So press Control-3 to get into the console and press up a bunch so that we can read it. So I can't see it or hear it or feel it.
Come on, scroll up.
Okay.
There we go.
Account load. Oh, ha ha ha. Okay. Yeah. So on line 118, you have a thing that says background::load to stream, and then the file that you're loading is blank.
Oh.
So either comment it out so that you can run your program, or you have to add in a valid like sound file because it's like I don't know what to do with a blank sound file.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't want to mess with it right now,
that's just right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And if you don't remember you can just press up once. If you don't remember the comment key, you can press Control// and it'll figure that out for you and comment it. Yep. So there you go. Ta-da.
Oh.
Yeah. It's slightly esoteric, so you can let it do it for you. So
that's cool. Okay, should I try again then?
Sure, yeah. It always stops after the first failure, the first error, so it'll just crash after that, which sounds bad, but it's actually good because then you get the message as to where it was, so you can slowly over time knock those down. So
would it be faster to go through the debugger?
Not in this case because it's telling you exactly where the problems are, and it's been pretty straightforward to trace back what the problem is. The debugger is really useful when you've got, especially like computational things where you need to know what's the state of this variable at this time and stuff like that. But for stuff like this, where it's just like there was an entry that was invalid, you don't really need the debugger.
Yeah, I actually had
just not always.
I actually had a debugger type issue last night where the game was running, and like there was no error, but there was like an elite there was 2 variables being defined in 2 different places, so it was running, but again, like I don't really know how to use the debugger to get that. I had William and Amanda's help with that last night, but like I don't really know how to use the debugger to be able to problem solve that type of a thing.
Yeah.
Accessibly.
How to use a debugger is a chronic difficulty for a lot of folks. Even students in college, man, they're like, how do I use a debugger? I mean, it's not like something special to Quorum's debugger or anything else. It's just using debuggers can be pretty dang difficult sometimes. So that's definitely true. There are technologies that have existed to make debuggers that are more intuitive to people, but a lot of the times in academia, at least, when they invent these things, they make them very useful to people, but also so impractically impossible to invent that you can't really do it. So like, I won't name anyone in particular, but like there's definitely debugger designs out there that are awesome, but that you can't practically put to use in a real product that would actually function. They're more like toys, you know. Like for example, one of the coolest things is when debuggers track all possible state changes in a program as they go, called omniscient debugging. Omniscient debugging is amazing because you can get like a graph of all the variables that are there. Problem is, you're tracking every piece of state change in a program. So like what you end up with is like a monstrous amount of memory to run even a trivial program. So it's tricky. There's no easy answers here. Debugging has always been kind of a pain in computer science. There's just no easy way around it. So, oh, okay. So you got to the next one, line 144. So it looks like you're at that now. Yeah. So you see what we're doing though at a whole? Every time we get one of these, we go down and we say, what's happening at this spot? And then we look for the first line in the stack trace that tells us where it is. And then we have to reverse engineer where that was. So this one says the object being referenced is undefined. And at 144, you're calling spell : get counter and then hide. And so what's happening is the spell at the location of get counter, and in this case it would be 0, is not there. So now we need to figure out what's in spell at that location. And it looks like it's goal 1. So I'm guessing blue potion 1 is not actually being set into the system either, is what I would guess.
Okay. So it's probably just the same as ogre. So I can go through and
probably. But do you see how I came to that conclusion? Do you see how I came to that conclusion from looking at the stack trace? Yeah. That's the key.
Yes,
like you'll do that. So. Okay, cool. You'll do that as a programmer constantly. These kind of errors, like object undefined, these are actually really nice errors for programmers because they tell you exactly where they were. So you can kind of backtrace them. It's the other ones that are tough. Like the screen reader's a little laggy sometimes, kind of, maybe, sort of. Those are hard because there's no like, where does it live type messages. It's just like, there's a little lag sometimes and there's no way to know exactly when or why. So it makes it really pernicious to try to find. Whereas an error like this where something was undefined, that's awesome because it says, hey, it's on line 144. Right there, go find it. And then you're kind of good to go for figuring stuff out. So in any case. Okay. So sounds good. So while she's doing that, any other thoughts or questions or stuff you want me to go over?
Let me stop screen share if that lets me.
Okay.
It doesn't want me to stop screen share. Let me stop.
I can stop your screen share. That's fine. There we go.
You can stop?
Yeah.
Just like do new screen share? No, I just want you to stop screen share. Okay, I'll work on that then.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions, I could always go over one of the other tutorials in the track. Let's see here. I don't think we have enough time to do the rest of spatial sounds. That one's pretty rough. But have you done, has the learner group done loops yet or no?
I know Amanda went over them. I don't know if she did the exact tutorial, but I know she did go over them because I know that Amanda also did like, I don't think the I don't ever remember like when Amanda did them like with the stuff that she was going over. I don't think the the lesson covered like vectors and stuff when she did them, but it was like it kind of went in a different order than the lessons.
That makes sense. Okay.
So
Well then, why don't we take a shot at, we'll do part of the spatial sounds just to kind of finish off for the day so that people can sort of see how you get toward something. This is sort of a good, a good final one to go through. Is everybody cool with that, or do you prefer something different?
no, I'm cool with it, especially since I'm totally blind, so it's good for
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. So, Sarah, I assume you want the advanced group?
Yes, please. Thanks.
No problem. Okay. And okay, so great. So I'm going to share screen again. And I'm on the spatial sounds tutorial. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, I'm going to put that into the Epic Learner Slack. And what I'm going to do first is let's kind of talk about what the goals are for the next couple minutes, like the next probably 20, 25 minutes. And we're not going to get through this whole thing, so don't expect it. But what we're going to do first, we're going to remind ourselves a little bit about arrays. If Amanda did this, then we'll make this part quick. But actually, arrays are kind of a tricky concept, so it probably doesn't hurt to have two people describe it in different ways anyway, just because it's a trickier thing. And then we're going to talk a little bit about repeat, because oftentimes when we write code, we don't want to just like stamp out hundreds of variables. We would instead want to design a place where you could store as many variables as you want of a particular kind. That's very useful for lots of things. And then if we get to there, which we won't, we'll talk more about spatial sound, although we did just a little through talking about balance and fade. That's not much information, but it's a little bit. So first, let's talk about arrays. But what we're going to do is we're not going to do this refactor task because I don't think we have time. But what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight to this repeat tutorial, and we're actually going to pull out one of the Quorum boxes, and we're going to do a little bit of coding in here just to kind of show you what you can do, and then we'll do a little bit of putting this into an array inside of our program. So what I'm going to do first is I want to go into one of these Quorum boxes, and I want to point out that when you're doing computer science, oftentimes you want to do, it's a computer, and computers are really good about doing the same thing over and over again. And when you're doing something over and over again, that just screams the idea of a loop. And there's many ways you could describe loops. Some programming languages like Python or Java or C++, which is where it all really derived from, is from C, use words like for, which don't really mean anything. Evidence from David Weintraub and other scholars shows that words like repeat are more meaningful to humans, which probably isn't that surprising because, duh, it implies the concept that it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, in one of these Quorum boxes, we're going to say repeat 10 times. Now, when I'm doing this inside of a Quorum box, this little Quorum boxy thing, the reason I'm doing this is not because this is a better way to code. It's not. It's harder by any standard. There's no help. There's no like details. But importantly, if I have a program up in Quorum Studio and I want to write a quick and dirty snippet of code just as a test, this is a great way to do it because you can just write a quick piece of code and that's it. And then you're done, and then you throw it away because you don't care about it. So these little boxes are really great for like writing little snippets of code you just want to kind of do a little experiment with to see what it does, and then throwing it away. They're less good as making like long-term projects in, because you don't get any help, you don't get any of these like editor hints or code completion. None of that stuff is kind of built in. It makes it a lot harder. So in any case, if I say repeat 10 times, I'm then going to say output hi, and I'm going to click build, and it says my build was successful, and then I'm going to run my program. And when I do that, not surprisingly, it says the word hi 10 times. Now that's not terribly useful, but it becomes very useful when you're using concepts like arrays. So let's talk about that very briefly. Inside of an array, oftentimes I'm going to have an array for representing a collection of items. So in my case, I might say array, and then I'm going to put less than integer, and then array, and my program is not going to compile. And that's because I'm missing a use statement. Now in Quorum Studio, you would just generate a hint, and then ta-da, like you're done. It'll figure it out. But I just have to manually here, because I just know it, type libraries.containers.array. My program will build again. This is again why using the Quorum boxes isn't really ideal, because you have to memorize so much more stuff. It's just infinitely harder than not memorizing this stuff. But again, I'm going to make some code and I'm going to throw it away on purpose, right? So inside of my array, let's kind of explain this. So first of all, use is indicating you want to use a library, and then this is its location, just like a URL on a website. Then I have this thing that says array, this is the type, and then it has this weird garbage here, less than, integer, greater than. This little garbage is telling you I want an array of only integers, nothing else. If I try to put anything else in this array, I want you to yell at me and not let me do it. And the reason we do this is to prevent ourselves from making accidental mistakes. And it turns out in computer science, we often call this type checking. And it turns out the type checking actually really does, there's evidence in the literature, it really does prevent people from making mistakes, and it really does prevent people from, it actually also helps people know what to call in functions, which makes people a little bit faster. And I could get into the evidence on these things, but it's not really important. At the end of the day, this stuff is actually helpful. So I've got array, and then I've got this funny garbage. This is called a generic or a template. And then I got a name array. And I can add things to it. So if I say repeat 10 times, I can actually say array colon, and then I'm going to say add, and then I'm going to say I, and I'm going to put into my array an account of the, there. So I'm going to write this code and then I'll orally describe it. So I've got use libraries.containers.array, array less than integer greater than array, capital array for first one, integer I equals 0, repeat 10 times, array colon add I equals I plus 1, and end. Now here's the key. If I wanted to fill up some array that went from like 0 to 10, I just wanted to store variables from 0 to 10, I would need 10 lines of code, right? And if I wanted to store variables from 0 to 1,000,000, I would need 1,000,000 lines of code, right? With a repeat loop, I need like 4, and I can go from any number of them from 0 to however many I feel like, and it doesn't matter.
Can you give an example of why you would want 1,000,000 variables?
Yeah. So imagine that you already have them. So in your scene already, you've got all sorts of like water tiles and dirt tiles and stuff like that, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would we want to make just a single like set of variables for every one of them? We'd go crazy, right? So instead, we put that into a container, which technically is called a data structure, and then it handles all the storage and reassignment and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, can we see that array in our, so knowing that we have dirt, grass, water in a data structure, can we see that in our code, or is that just like really behind the scenes?
No, you absolutely can. I don't have a scene. I'd have to make a scene. Let me make a scene real quick and I'll do that. That's a great question. I'm going to close my keyboard madness. I'm going to make a new scene. Let's see here. I'm going to make a blank scene. I'm going to call it Mike Face is Dog's Teeth, right? That's the perfect name. No one can tell me otherwise. Right, Mike? Is that correct? Is that a factual statement? Okay, good. Sorry. I don't deserve to be sitting here. Okay. Now, inside of my palette, I'm gonna go in, and because I want to, I'm just gonna make like a couple of monsters, and then I'm gonna make 2, 3 monsters. I'm gonna put them in a couple places, and then I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make like, oh wait, they need weapons, obviously, and they all have axes, but they're trying to get to them because like they're, I don't know, I'm just pulling crap out of my ass. Anyway, so I made a scene that has a bunch of crap in it. Cool. Now inside of my project, I'm now gonna go to my source code, and what I'm gonna do is get this out of the way. There. I'm going to go to my game, and I'm actually gonna call a function after I load the scene, and I'm gonna call, what do I call? I think it's get items. No, there's some function that I can call. Oh yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this thing called get current layer 2D. And this is a little bit weird. It's going to sound pretty behind the scenes, but you asked a kind of behind the scenes question. And then it sounds like magic, but I don't remember what this stupid function returns, what the stupid action returns. But why would I when I can press Alt Enter and it magically does it for me? And then I don't remember what this stupid place that this thing lives is, but why would I ever remember that? It's useless information when I can press Alt Enter and it goes up the top of the file and I could care less what is there, right? And like, this sounds silly, but it's just like when you drive a car, you don't really care at all times, you know, how the details of the carburetor works or how the details of like the electric motor works or whatever it is. You just don't care. You're just like saying, car, drive me to the store, or I drive to the store manually or whatever.
I can't wait until I can say car drive me to the store. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think it's going to be that much longer, to be quite honest. But we'll see.
But I take
case,
I take your meaning.
Yeah, you get the idea. So the point is that we abstract things all the time. It's just a really common thing to do. And so now I've got a layer, and my layer has all sorts of stuff in it, and I'm going to get, I think I can get, here we go. I think I call get iterator on this layer. And like, this is going to be a little bit funny, but this is basically in the layer, there's an array, literally an array. And inside of it, it contains all of the items, I'm going to shrink this just a little, that are in the system. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use a loop. I'm going to say repeat while iterator : has next. And I know this is a little bit black magic, but just trust me for a second. And then what this is doing, this idea of an iterator, what it's doing is saying find the array and then go over each item one at a time. Item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5, item 6. Get the next one and return it to me. So then I'm going to say iterator next. And then I can get an item back and I can output its name to the system. Okay, now this looks slightly complicated, and it is. It's only 4 lines of code, but it's 4 kind of complicated lines, right? So I want to say them one more time. In this particular case, the purpose of this example is that I'm showing that the scenes themselves contain an array, and I can get that, and then without having to like make variables for each item, I can just go and output them all to the system without knowing really anything about how they're stored or anything like that. And I do that with these 4 or 5 lines of code. Layer 2D, layer equals get current layer 2D. Iterator with the funny little templating garbage, item 2D, saying what's in the scene. Iterator equals layer get iterator. Repeat while iterator : has next. Item 2D item equals iterator dot : next. And then output item : get name and an end statement. The point isn't that you have to memorize how these iterators work. The point is arrays and other kinds of data structures are really just collections of variables. That's really all they are. And if you have them not just as an individual variable, but as a collection, you can do crazy things with them, like print out all items in the phone book or print out all items in the scene. So if I run this, and I didn't screw it up, oops, wrong button. you will notice that it indeed outputs all of the items that were in the scene. Red mouth 2, 3, 4, axe, X1, and X2. And so there we go. And so even though if I had 1,000,000 items in that scene, it wouldn't really make any difference. It would just go and print out those two. Okay, you with me?
I think so.
Or are you bugger lost at this point? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's go back and let's look at our code for loops. And this will probably be the last piece, just so you can get some taste of arrays before we're done. So in my array then, if I wanted to fill it up, just like I could fill up a scene, I can keep this data structure around this array, and I could put anything I want into it, whether it's a scene item or a number or an integer, whatever it is. I can then add them up, and then what we'll do is we will print them all out. So I've got use libraries.containers.array. I've got this the thing where I make it, and then I fill it up, which is the loop. I equals 0, repeat 10 times. Array add I equals I plus 1 and end. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print them all out. So I already have a variable called I, so I'm going to say I equals 0 again, and I'm going to start it over. Instead of saying repeat 10 times, I'm going to assume that maybe I don't know how many items are in this array. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say repeat, and I'm going to use a different kind of loop called while. Repeat while, and then I'm going to say I is less than array colon get size. And the idea here is now it doesn't matter how many items are in my array. I'm always going to traverse over them until they're done. And then I'm going to put an end at the end just because that's good habit. One easy mistake to make here is if I then do this and I run it, does anybody have a good sense of what's going to happen? There's one very specific thing that my computer program will do if this runs, and I'd like people to stare at the code for a second and try to figure out what that is. I'll make it bigger for those that want to see it. So I've got I equals 0, repeat while I is less than array colon get size, and then end. What will this code do when I run it? And then we'll run it and confirm it. Something very specific and important. That happens all the time in computer science. I'll give you a hint. What this code does is infuriating. That's your hint. What this code does is absolutely maddening and will infuriate you when you're running code. Okay, here's a second hint. I starts at 0. On the first iteration of the loop, I is less than array size is true because the array size is 10. We've added 10 items to it. So I being 0 is less than 10. Great. It then does what's in the body of the loop, which is nothing, and then it goes back to the beginning. I is still 0. The array size is still 10, so it's true. And then it goes and it does the loop. There's nothing there.
It's just gonna go.
So it doesn't go to the next thing.
Yeah, and that is called a what? Anyone know? It is called an infinite loop. This program runs forever and it will never stop. So if I run this in my browser, here's what happens. Notice that at the top of my screen, it isn't even loading because it's running. It says a web page is slowing down your browser. What would you like to do? And that's because this program will never stop. Now you might say to yourself, but Stefik, that's stupid. Why don't you just write a program that will detect whether or not these programs would run forever? So why don't we just do that? There's an unfortunate artifact that was discovered by Alan Turing that makes this problematic. Anyone know what it is? This is called the halting problem. The halting problem is part of a mathematical proof showing pretty dang strong mathematical evidence that it's impossible to detect whether a program will stop under the conditions of Turing's stuff. So you really can't. You can't really, in a general purpose way, detect whether or not from a piece of source code a program will stop. So what that means is we just have to be careful as humans to make sure that they do. And the solution here is, oh, yeah, well, the solution here is probably to restart my browser. Stop it, there. So the solution here is just to make sure that we make I go up on every iteration. So we say I equals I plus 1. So that way, once I gets above 10, it will stop. And so this program does execute. It doesn't do anything, but nonetheless, it does execute. And then we can output the value here. And so we're going to say array colon get I, and then it will output our stuff. If I run this, it counts from 0 to 10, 0 to 9, sorry. So let's go over this whole program one last time. Use libraries.containers.array. We then make an array, integer array. Make a variable called I, make it an integer. We repeat 10 times, that's one kind of loop we can make. We then call array colon add I. We increment to it, so we're counting, and then we end. We say I equals 0. We repeat while I is less than array colon get size, and we output it. To make sure we don't go in an infinite loop, we increment that I, and then we end our loop. And, you know, that's how it works. That is loops right there. Okay, I think we're running out of time before the next session. So are there any questions? Okay. Where did my screen share thing go? Do not know. There it is. Okay, that's relatively fast. We only had like 20, 25 minutes. But so does everybody kind of get a rough idea about how loops work now?
Yes.
And do you kind of get at least the basics of arrays? Like, do you know why they're used, or what you might use them for? Maybe fuzzy on how to code them, but like, you kind of get the rough idea for that?
Yes.
Okay, great. They are kind of a complicated concept in computer science. So.
Hey, Stefan, do you notice with the accessibility layer, I don't know if it's like the issue with the NVDA stop talking thing or what, but the keys for Control Shift 1 and 2 don't always. Well, I always have to, every time I boot up Quorum Studio, I always have to go to the menu and initialize it first. You know, do it once first, and then the keys will work.
Weird.
But it won't do it when I just boot it up and just randomly hit the key to see where I'm at or what the, what's the status of the program is.
The honest truth is I'm not sure, but I'll add it to the list for things when we talk to the Microsoft folks, because I suspect all of these are related. It's just William and I were talking about, it's just a hunch that like all of these issues are probably some like flaw somewhere on the native side, and we're just not sure where it is. So we'll look into it, but we're not sure yet. So I'm not positive.
Also,
Oh, go ahead.
On the accessibility front, I use reverse contrast on my computer, and it does not apply to Quorum Studio.
That is
so usually true. I have white on black instead of black on white.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't done anything with contrast modes in Quorum Studio. That is on the list of features that we would like to add. It's because of the way we draw the thing, because like that, you know how when you blow it up, it re-renders it and it's not all pixelated looking? Adding that feature actually makes it so that we can't use the default Windows contrast modes because we have to redraw it on our own. So it's a feature we have to add manually that we want. If you do want that feature and you have a list of which contrast modes you want, let us know because we might be able to do it. But yeah, it's definitely something we want to add in the future. So in fact, I should put that in.
Cool.
I'll put that in the bug tracker because I know it's something that you're not the only one that's requested it. So. Okay, we do have a 10-minute break, or actually 15, so we're a little behind. So I do want to let everybody kind of bugger off and use the facilities or whatever they want to do for 10. And then we'll be back and we'll start the next session, which is the Epic Showcase stuff. So we'll be back in 10.